Hey everyone, I just had to turn my camera on real quick to deliver this message to you, and it has to do with radical honesty. And we've grown up in a culture where we're so used to not being radically honest with each other that we're programmed to respond in certain situations in certain ways, and we're unconscious of the fact that we're not being real with people. And I think it really takes a mature, especially spiritually mature individual to really get on the level that they can be radically honest with people. Um, and the most important thing to realize about all this, and I'll give you an example in a minute, is that when you have uncomfortable conversations with people who you have relationships with, whether it's romantic or family members or whoever, you know, whatever, in any conversation, when you have uncomfortable conversations with people and you're sitting there face to face and you're expressing yourself and your truth, whether you feel like they're going to agree with you or not, there is so much healing in that. There's so much self-respect in that. There's so much integrity in that. So when you just tell people what they want to hear all the time, or you try to avoid things, it's a program, and you're only hurting yourself. So, for example, like if you think something about like something that your friend, like a choice your friend is making, and you disagree with it, a lot of times it's great to just not say anything depending on the situation, right? We have to let people go in their own directions and live their own lives. But if it's something between you, and it's like, say they ask you to go out to lunch or something, and you really don't want to go, but you go anyways. Instead of like sitting there and actually getting on the phone, like screw a text, get on the phone. Texts can be so misread. You can't, when you look in somebody's eyes, you feel their energy. When you hear their voice, you hear the intention behind what they're saying. So when you send a text message, it's kind of, and I'm guilty of this all the time, but I can get a good point across using words in a text message. But a lot of people, like, they're so vague because they're scared to be in their truth that the messages can get pulled in whatever direction. So instead of calling them on the phone and just being like, you know what, I'm having a day where I just don't feel like going to lunch with you. You know I love you from the depths of my soul, but it's just not going to happen today. Instead, a lot of people are programmed to just maybe just ignore the text, or so they're like in avoidance of their truth, in avoidance of speaking their truth, or maybe they'll give them some bullshit excuse like they're busy, or maybe they will go anyways, you know? I mean, there's a bunch of different directions, but really, and people really, the programs that are within those people, they feel like they're valid. They feel like it's valid for me to make up an excuse to not go because I'm respecting myself because I don't want to go, and that's an easy way out. But really, it's like, do you realize in the future when the vibrational frequency raises that we'll be able to read each other's minds anyways? Okay? And that's because like we're gonna be in a space vibrationally that we're gonna be operating from a heart space, so it won't matter anyways, because most people walking around will have good intentions, and we understand if someone's having a tough day and they need a break and they can't go to lunch with us. Like, there won't be that resistance because people aren't judging each other so much, and people aren't having these expectations of other people, and they're taking accountability that however they feel because their friend didn't want to go to dinner with them is because of something internally. It's not because of their friend. Like, everything you feel is because of you, and like when you're ready and mature enough to take accountability for that, no matter what somebody else does, that's when you're really on your way, on your spiritual journey, and as you're in this incarnation as well. A lot of young souls, they just aren't ready for this lesson. They're not ready to be radically honest with people. And it's really like funny, like, because people will be married for years and years and years, and they think things all the time, like, I wish my spouse would be this way, or they'll complain to their friends about their spouse, or they'll complain to their mother about their spouse, or their father, whoever, about their spouse or their significant other. But they're really programmed, so they're trying to make something that maybe they're not compatible in a relationship work because they have kids together, or because of their religion, or I'm only going to get married once, or whatever. I mean, there's a million examples of how people aren't radically honest in everyday life. And if they would just have that conversation with their significant other and just tell them how they really feel, like look them square in the eye, and not this like passive aggressive bullshit texting each other, and just like when somebody else is talking, just waiting for your opportunity to talk instead of listening to what they have to say and giving a shit about how another person feels, and just like operating from a place of just like insane integrity. And there's people who go their whole lives like and live to till they're old and wrinkly and die living the same day every day for almost their entire lives, just going through the motions, It's because they've never had this belief in themselves that they can speak their truth. Because the more you speak your truth, the more you get to know who you really are, the more you actually respect yourself and have a sense of self-worth. The more you lie and you're sneaky, and like a lot of people who lie and are sneaky don't even realize it. Like those people who say they're on their way, but they're not really, like to come meet with you, like that is not operating from a place of integrity. It's actually a very self-centered thing to do. And it's funny because like that, me saying that will trigger people who are like that. But you really have to dig deep. You really have to dig deep. Like if I don't want to go, or if I'm going to be late, I'm going to communicate that. If I don't want to go, I'm going to communicate that. Like communication is everything. And people avoid communication because they're really avoiding that communication with their higher self. Everything you do to others, or others are reflecting back to you, is a result of something that is within you. Maybe a program that needs to be dealt with within you, and negative energies within you. Like look at yourself in the mirror. If you're in a conflict with somebody, look at where that is actually you. Or you're not respecting your own boundaries, or you're not setting up boundaries with people. And that's why you still have a toxic person in your life that when you're interacting with their energetic field, with your energetic field, it doesn't resonate. And so you're fighting all the time, but you're not setting a proper boundary for yourself. You're not having enough self-respect to end that relationship. So yeah, coming back full circle, radical honesty. Just be honest. Just be honest. And you know when to walk away for something. You know when it's not even worth it to have the conversation. But most of the time it is. And people are just scared to step into their truth, stand up for themselves, set a boundary, whatever the case is. There's a million different perspectives to see this from. I just gave you a couple examples. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to step into your truth, because the more you do that, the faster you will grow. Like, it'll be exponential. One of people's number one problems that's holding them back on their spiritual journey is communication with others. But anyways, guys, once we all become more intuitive, we're all going to be able to read each other anyway. So you're not going to literally not be able to hide things. You're going to have to operate from a place of integrity, or you're going to be a vibrational match to those lower frequencies, to those lower frequency people. So I hope you guys have an awesome day. I just wanted to shoot that message to you because somebody does need to hear it.